right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel and more GR Corolla audio products. Today, we are going to go over something pretty simple, but it is something that has been requested fairly often of us, is a complete amplifier installation kit for the GR Corolla. Uh, Most of you know that we make the audio T-harnesses for the JBL or non-JBL Corolla, but our JBL T-harness is kind of what put us on the map with all of you GR Corolla owners. So we decided to take that portion of the amp install and add to it to give you a complete kit for you to install your own amplifier in your GR Corolla. So with our kits, what you're going to get is you'll get a T-harness. So depending on if you have JBL or non-JBL, so our JBL harness or our non-JBL harness. For those of you that don't know, our T-harnesses are expandable. So what that means is, in case of, say, the GR Corolla with JBL, you have 6 channels of audio output coming out of that amplifier. You have your rear channel, you have your channel for your mid-range, and then you have your channel that feeds your tweeter and your mid-bass. So if you wanted to just add a subwoofer amp to your GR Corolla, you can take this T-harness. You're going to use the appropriate channel, which will be noted in directions. You can open up that connector, plug in, and then you'll be able to add in audio signal from this into your equipment. From there, if you decided that, you know what, I want to add a 4-channel or a DSP, or I want to add another amp in my vehicle, you can take this same T-harness and access your channel for your mid-range or access your rear channel without having to take this T-harness and chop it up to get to these other wires. Everything is already connected for you. All you have to do is open up that connector, plug in what you need. So it gives you expandability out of that same harness. We don't want you to have to buy a harness to do one system and then later on want to expand and have to either modify that harness or buy a whole new harness. We want to give you all of that capability with one. So JBL and non-JBL both have that same functionality. From there, what you're also going to get is the audio T-harness, or the expansion for our T-harness. So in case of the non-JBL, the T-harness plugs in behind the head unit, but you still need to get that signal from behind the head unit to the rear of the car, which is what this kit is designed for. So you have your extension harness. So this guy plugs in behind the head unit at the T-harness, and then you have this long run that'll take you to the back of the car so you can feed that signal into your amplifier or your line output converter, what have you. So you'll get that extension harness. What you also get is our power and ground harness. So with this, everything is pre-terminated. You have your power and ground. You have all of your length that you need. This is 6 feet. So it's long enough to reach anywhere in the trunk, which is where most people with GRs are putting their audio equipment. We have a fuse holder bracket that's made specifically for the GR. So there is a space by the battery where there's like a little flap and it already has a hole in it. This guy will bolt in that location. You have your fuse holder, everything is there. We also give you the hardware to mount this in, as well as the fuse. Your terminals that go to your battery are already terminated with rings, and they are labeled 12 volt and ground, so you know what goes where. On the opposite end of the harness, we have wire ferrules, so that you don't have to strip the wire to feed it into your amp. It's already pre-stripped for you. And these are also labeled 12 volt and ground, so you're gonna know where they go. No confusion there. And then we have our subwoofer cable. So 12 gauge subwoofer cable, red and black. They are pre-stripped and pre-soldered. So all you have to do is stick this guy right into your amp and into your subwoofer terminal cup. If your amplifier isn't a modern amp, which most nowadays have a set screw that you loosen up with like an Allen key, the wire goes in and you screw it back down. If your amplifier is set up like an older amp to where you need ring terminals or spades in order to put these wires on your amplifier, just let us know ahead of time, and then we will pre-terminate with rings and forks instead of the wire ferrules and soldered wire. So you will have that option depending on what equipment you have. So you just let us know what you got. We'll make sure we put the right connectors on there for you. These are available in 8 gauge and 4 gauge for single amp or dual amp setups. Most of you guys are just going to do a sub amp, so this is more than sufficient. Um, we have had some people say, "Oh, it's only 8 gauge. I want to run like a 600 watt amp, but my amp takes 4 gauge in." This is only 6 feet. 8 gauge is more than capable of carrying enough current for a 700, even 800 watt amp in a 6-foot run. If you want a 4 gauge kit, you can definitely go up to a 4 gauge kit. We do offer them in 4 gauge as well. We have had a couple of people that say, "Well, I want to run like 2,000 watts." Probably not the best thing to run in a Corolla anyway because the alternator is so small. But on a 4 gauge kit, you could definitely run a 1,500 watt amp off of that easily because the run's so short. The longer the run, the less amperage you can pass through it. Again, because it's so short, you can pass a lot of amperage through it and not have any problems. So that's basically the parts that you need to install your amplifier in your GR Corolla. If your amplifier does not have a high level input, or it does, but it doesn't have any kind of signal sense turn on, then you're also going to want a line output converter, which we can also include. We do line output converters with pack audio or audio control. So most new amplifiers are going to have a high level input. And what that means is you don't have to plug a RCA in. You can just plug speaker wire inputs in, which is what this is. If they do have a high level input, you just want to double check and make sure that your amp also has a signal sense turn on. And what that means is if you feed signal into that high level input, as soon as that circuit sees audio signal, your amplifier will turn on. So what that means is you don't have to run a remote turn on cable. Not needed in that scenario. If you do not have a signal sense turn on, you do not have a high level input, then you are going to need a line output converter. All the line output converters that we sell do take that high level in, which is what a high level converter will do, but it also is a signal sense turn on circuit. So you would take your audio extension harness, feed it into your line output converter. That line output converter will give you your low level signal, which is RCAs, and then it also gives you a remote turn on circuit to feed into your amplifier. So if you needed those products, we also sell that and we will also include that. If you purchase it that way with a line output converter, we will pre-terminate the ends of the extension harness so that everything just plugs in for you guys and you don't have to go fish around to figure out what goes where. That's basically everything that you will need. Again, if you have that high level signal sense turn on circuit on your amp or powered subwoofer, that's basically all you need. If you don't, you're going to need to add on a line output converter and an RCA cable, as well as a remote turn on cable. And that's all going to come included. So our kits, if you're just going to do a single amp, which is what most people have been doing, 8 gauge single amp kit is $200. Sorry. That includes the T harness, the power and ground harness, your audio extension harness, your subwoofer cable, hardware, and fuse for $200. If you want to go up to a 4 gauge kit, then obviously you'll get the same things, but 4 gauge wire, and that's going to be $250. From there, if you need that line output converter, that would be additional. The pack audio LPA 2.2, these guys are $89.99. That'll come with the RCA cable as well as the remote turn on cable. If you want to step up to the audio control LC2i Pro, these are $229, and then that also comes with the RCA cable and the remote turn on cable. So it'll come with everything you need. For the most part, in the JBL equipped Corollas, the LPA 2.2, this has been pretty sufficient. I haven't had any issues with it. It doesn't do anything weird. Definitely sounds very good. There's no missing audio path that I believe. Everything sounds very good with this. I would say go this route. If you gotta have an audio control product, which we do have customers that are like, no, I want audio control. All right, you can do the audio control. The audio control does give you the ability to restore some of the bass that may be lost in that audio path coming out of the JBL amp. So this does give you a little bit more benefit. The LC2i Pro also comes with a separate bass control knob. So if your amp doesn't have a bass control knob, then this is definitely the way to go, because you'll get that knob with it. So you'll have that functionality. Other than that, they both do very similar things. So you can't go wrong either way if you need that line output converter. If not, this is all you need right here. So if you guys have any questions, you can drop us a comment here or hit us on our email, which is going to be in the description. Again, we are finishing our website. It has been a long time, but we're trying to put our attention into our products and making video content for you guys so that you can see exactly what the products are and what they're going to do. We will get our website up and running hopefully soon. But for now, again, drop us a comment, send us a message on that email. We'll do all of our sales through that email. So we'll get you your invoicing and whatnot through that email. So again, hit us up, let us know, and we'll get you guys set up. Thanks.